Good morning, this is Shelby Law with a Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Wednesday, July 29th, 2026. This week includes some showers and thunderstorms increasing across Utah, eastern Idaho, and western Wyoming for today. We may see some isolated dry thunderstorms in the Idaho mountains on Thursday. Otherwise, an overall warming and drying trend is expected after today, area-wide as the ridge moves overhead for the weekend. And then we'll also see some gusty winds moving across the central Idaho mountains for the weekend as well. Fuels-wise, fire danger is rapidly increasing area-wide, or will be after the moisture moves out today as the hot and dry conditions move into the area. Fire potential impacts for the next couple of days, again showing that increase in shower and thunderstorm activity today across Utah up into eastern Idaho and western Wyoming. We still have the smoke impacts across Idaho and northern Nevada, and then some breezy winds over the southern Great Basin today. Otherwise, by Friday, the winds really lighten up. The precipitation and lightning from yesterday showed a fair amount of activity across parts of southeast Idaho, into western Wyoming, and portions of far eastern Utah. Some of these storms were accompanied by some decent precipitation, but definitely we saw some drier spots as well. Yesterday's fire activity showed 19 new fires for 188 acres and large fire growth of over 14,000 acres. Some of that coming on our Nevada fires and the Wide Mouth 2 fire. Afternoon smoke is shown here for the next couple of days. Still expecting to see some significant smoke impacts in western Idaho, both today and tomorrow, and we see a little bit more smoke across Nevada and Utah as well, with some of the new fires there. Fire danger conditions continue to increase area-wide as the air mass warms up and dries out. Today we do have a little bit of an increase in moisture into Utah and eastern Idaho and western Wyoming, but definitely increasing rapidly after today. Just taking a look here at the Fish Lake PSA where we saw the Wide Mouth 2 really have significant growth yesterday. We can see those ERC values are below normal for the time of year and quite a bit below any critical thresholds. However, due to the very dry shrubs and heavier fuels, we can still expect to see that pretty aggressive fire behavior. This morning's satellite imagery shows an area of high pressure remaining place over the southern Rockies, allowing the moisture to stream up into the eastern parts of the Great Basin today. After today, the high pressure ridge will start to really build back towards the west. Again, looking at the upper air pattern for the next couple of days, high pressure to our east. And today, tomorrow, a little bit to our south, and then by Friday, we'll see that high pressure ridge starting to become centered over the Great Basin. No high risk triggers issued for the next couple of days as we just have some breezy winds here and there, but overall, generally lighter winds area-wide for the next few days. For today, a closer look at those winds. Again, some breezy conditions expected over eastern Nevada. Otherwise, gusty outflow winds can be expected with the storms that develop today in Utah and especially up into eastern Idaho and western Wyoming. After today, the overall winds lighten up for a couple of days. Minimum relative humidities are very low across Nevada today, with some higher values over Utah as we see a little bit of that monsoonal moisture increase across the area. But after today, the minimum relative humidities really drop across Idaho and Utah for a very dry weekend ahead. For the precipitation forecast today, again, we can see a decent chance of some precip over the higher elevations of Utah and even up into eastern Idaho and western Wyoming. Some of these storms may carry up to 1/4 of an inch of rain and may represent a little bit of a flash flood risk if those storms do occur where we've had recently burned areas. After today, the thunderstorms decrease, especially across Utah. On Thursday, we could still see some isolated storms over the central Idaho mountains and into western Wyoming. We may even see some drier type storms up into parts of the eastern Payette here where we haven't seen some storms recently, so something to keep in mind. And then by Friday, the thunderstorms should really be decreasing area-wide. For the weekend and into the first part of next week, high pressure still remains the main story for very hot temperatures and low relative humidities this weekend. There is a low pressure system moving into the Pacific Northwest for the weekend, which will increase winds across the central Idaho mountains Saturday into Sunday and possibly even into Monday as it moves across to the north. We do have high risk triggers issued for those winds over the central Idaho mountains on Saturday, a little bit further east on Sunday, and then over eastern Idaho and western Wyoming on Monday. A closer look at those winds again, showing some increasing values starting on Saturday to the central Idaho Mountains and pushing a little bit further south and east Sunday into Monday. Minimum relative humidities continue to be quite low, with values dropping into the single digits for most areas for the weekend and into the first part of next week. No precipitation is really as expected on Saturday into Sunday or Monday. We may just see some very isolated storms here or there in eastern Utah on Sunday, it looks like. Maximum temperatures for today are shown here on the left. A little bit of a cooler day in Utah with some of those storms moving overhead and highs in the upper 90s elsewhere. But by Saturday, those temperatures really spike underneath the high pressure ridge with highs pretty much over 100 degrees area wide. Minimum overnight recoveries are also going to decrease as we head through the weekend, but for today, those values are going to be quite low over Nevada, as we've seen for the past few days. And then by Saturday night, we'll see that dry air really spreading across much of the Great Basin for very poor humidity recoveries, even into Utah and southern Idaho. To summarize things here, we do have a warming and drying trend moving into the Great Basin for the weekend, and then some wind coming to the north also for the weekend and into the first of next week. The extended forecast for August 3rd through the 7th puts the bullseye of heat across the southern Great Basin and below normal chances for precipitation across much of the northern and central portions of the area as well. We do see a chance for above normal precip over the southwest, and we'll see how much of that makes its way into the southern Great Basin. This concludes today's briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.